1, 2. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the London Cup. It is Sunday, July the 8th, 2018, and this is the penultimate game on this field for this tournament. It will feature the Joudrs under-19 Czech Republic team from Prague, and they will be taking on the Great Britain under-19 team. And my name is Tim Collins, and I'm joined by Mr. Bob Fromer. Yes.
Good morning.
I was just going to introduce you as somebody that everybody already knows anyway, in British softball, 2012 British Softball Hall of Fame inductee, plus a Lifetime Achievement Award, and you're adding to your lifetime achievements by sitting here in the sun with me and watching this game.
Hopefully not too much sun. So the significance of this game is that the GB under-19s need to win the game to book their place in the final. France have already booked their place. This is actually the last game of the round robin. But if GB under-19s would lose this game, then the GB select team would make the final. So while GB under-19s would probably expect to win this game, there is something to play for here.
Yes, and this Joudrs team, they've struggled a little bit, but you can see that they have some talent on their team, and they're developing, and they're getting some good experience in this weekend tournament, which, you know, watching the games yesterday has been very entertaining, and the weather's been fantastic.
The weather's been, well, it's been like this for weeks, and who knows when it's going to end. The Joudrs team, they're a young team. A lot of their players came up from their under-16 squad, now into their under-19 squad. Joudrs are probably the leading softball club in the Czech Republic. Doesn't mean they win the league every year, but they, in terms of their development and the number of teams they have, they're probably the top team in the country. So they produce good players, and they've got a crop of young players who will go on through their system and into their senior team, and some of them probably on to play for the Czech Republic.
Yeah, and they are the home team in this ball game, and they're getting ready to take the field, as you can clearly hear. And defensively, for Joudrs, they're going to send the following defensive alignment out. The infield from left to right, Lucy Jungova, number 50, playing third base. Teresa Šmikolova, the shortstop, and Julie Onderkova is the second baseman, and Nikola Birtkova is playing first base. In left field, Kreta Fojtova, as you see the team take the field. In center field, Eva Stankova, and in right field, Kristina Kovarchova. The battery, the pitcher is Michaela Otahalova, and the catcher, Julio Aricchio.
And Otahalova pitched yesterday against the Irish, and they narrowly lost that game. It was a good game. She pitched quite well. So hopefully she will give the GB team a little bit to think about.
Yeah, that was a 5-2 game that we saw between Ireland, which is also a team that, watching them, it's real easy to root for them. They have some excited and just young players that are really gaining experience, and you can see the skill level developing almost right before your eyes. It's actually really fun to watch.
Ireland has, they've really only had a fast pitch program for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
They've come on really quickly. They're sending teams now to World Championships, and the event that lies behind this one, of course, is the European Under-19 Championship. GB team is obviously going. Ireland is sending a team. There'll be a Czech team there. So several players in the Ireland team are certainly going on to that tournament. Yeah,
and we will give you the lineup for the under-19 Great Britain team. The leadoff hitter will be the center fielder, Alana Snow, as she's going to climb into the batter's box soon. And the number 2 hitter, the second baseman, Laura Hirai. Batting third, Diana Nesbitt, the shortstop. Batting fourth, Megan Parno, the first baseman. Batting fifth, Andrea Johnson, the third baseman, as we are set for the first pitch of the game. And it's a strike, 0-1. Batting sixth, Hannah Edwards, the designated player. Batting seventh, Olivia Lee, the catcher. Batting eighth, Saskia Davies in left field. Batting ninth, Glennis McGuire in right field. And batting 10th, the pitcher, Kira Watson in the 0-1. Missed inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Alana Snow just finished her freshman year at UCLA. She's actually going to redshirt next year and then come back and as a junior, I guess, try and make the starting team at one of the best colleges in the country.
She takes low, 2 balls, 1 strike. We're just underway, top of the first inning. Michaela Otahalova in the pitcher's circle for Joudrs, the Czech Republic team. A battle of U-19 teams. There's a swing and a foul back to the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. Lefty against lefty. The field has been baking in the sun for weeks. As you mentioned, Bob, the weather's been hot here, and the grass is a light brown color. It's almost like Texas. Just missed a full count.
Close pitch. I think Alana would have been thinking, okay, what's she going to call here? That's the plate umpire, Bridget Cameron. Sorry, Yana McCaskill behind the plate.
A 4-person umpire crew. There's the payoff. It's popped up left side, shallow left center field, and the ball drops in between. And now a throw to second, not in time. Sliding in there safely, Alana Snow, excuse me. As that pop-up fell between Shmikolova and Stankova, the center fielder and shortstop.
That ball was always going to be trouble, but of course Alana alertly hustled that into a double. If it was caught, she was out, but if it wasn't caught, then she was going to be on second base.
That will bring up Laura Hirai, runner on second, nobody out. And she squares to bunt, and the pitch is high, did not go through it. Ball 1.
It's a hit.
Just wanted to be sure. Official score says double. Laura Hirai on second base, the 1-0. This one goes to the screen, and off to third is Snow. That'll be a wild pitch. Ball 2.
Laura Hirai lives in London. She's come through the whole GB system, not just the softball system, but she played baseball for a number of years for GB baseball youth teams. Has finally come over full-time to softball.
2 balls, no strikes to count. And this one bunted in front of the plate. The throw to first is not in time. The run comes home to score as the ball went down the line, and she's off to the races. She's going to maybe circle the bases all the way around, and she scores. 2-0.
So you might call that a bunt home run, but in fact it's probably a bunt single and an error.
And yeah, it's going to be an error. We look at it on the replay. The ball basically was right on home plate when it was picked up by the catcher, Arikia, and her throw went down the right field line, and that dry outfield, which also looks like it kind of rolls a little bit downhill out there, and the ball just kept on rolling, and Great Britain leads 2-0. There's a fly ball to right center field, and it is actually caught by the second baseman, Julia Underkova. That's the first out of the inning.
This is Megan Parno at bat. Megan's been with the under-19 program a couple of years. She catches or plays first base. Very versatile player.
That was, by the way, Diana Nesbitt, who just popped out on the first pitch while I was adjusting my scorebook. The pitch is high, ball 1. One out and nobody on. 2 runs are in. You mentioned, Bob, that Laura Hirai had played baseball. There's the pitch. That's a strike over the outside corner. So Melissa Mayu, also who's with the French national team, she made headlines a few years ago, being a potential draftee in the Major League Baseball European talent pool. And she's put on a show this week. And
yeah, she's had some really good hits for France. Big, powerful girl.
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike. 1 out, nobody on. Megan Parno, the hitter, against Michaela Otahalova in the pitcher's circle. The left-hander gets her sign and deals. High fly ball, deep center field, sending Stankova back. She's under it and makes the catch. That's the second out of the inning. And that will bring up Andrea Johnson. Two outs, nobody on base. Johnson, very open stance. That pitch is low. Ball 1.
She whipped a double against France yesterday to drive in the first 2 runs that gave GB a lead. France ultimately won that game 6-4. Very, very close game, good ball game, but Andrea had a really good hit in that in the game, the first inning, in fact.
She takes a strike for a 1-1 count. Yeah, France is awaiting the result of this game to see who they will play in the final. It will either be Great Britain Select or Great Britain U-19. The pitch, that's low. 2-1 now the count. There are 2 outs. Nobody on base. Left-handed pitcher Michaela Otahalova in the pitcher's circle, signaling around to her teammates. And the 2-1. Hit hard on the ground. That's a base hit into right field. Ball fielded cleanly by Kovarchova. She gets it back in. So runner on first with 2 outs. That'll bring up the designated player, Hannah Edwards.
Hannah played for the GB Under-16s last year in the European Championship. Was probably their best player, definitely the best player. This is her first year with the 19s, but as you can see, she's a big girl and powerful hitter as well as a good pitcher. I think we may see her in this game at some point. Pitching. Kira Watson's starting, but I think Hannah will come in and get some work because she was warming up before the game.
The pitch is outside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes now. As the first one was high, the second one came in. Yeah, pitching is something, if you can do it, it'll get you on a roster in a lot of places, regardless of if you are the same age as others or not. This pitch is low. Skips away from the catcher and advancing to second base on the wild pitch is Andrea Johnson. So the count 3-0 now. That ball way down and outside. Nothing that Arikio could do. She tried to get over and block it. 3 balls, no strikes. Runner at second and 2 outs. The pitch taking all the way. That's a strike over the outside. 3-1.
I think what we've got here, Tim, with the Czechs is some young pitchers who just aren't that consistent yet. They'll throw some good pitches and then the ball will be in the dirt or the ball will be over the catcher's head. They'll develop.
Yeah, that pitch is up high. You can see, I mean, and watching the games yesterday, I noticed the same thing, that they had some pitchers with really good stuff, and it's, I mean, that's kind of, this is sort of the growing pains age for pitchers when they try to develop their control and turn control into command. So it's like more than just throwing strikes, but throwing good strikes to quality parts of the zone that are not just meatballs.
Yep.
And that's where they've kind of run into trouble. And you're right, they showing signs. There's a bouncing ball left side, and it takes a hop and goes off the leg of the shortstop Shmikalova into center field. Coming home to score is Andrea Johnson. Heading to third is Edwards, and stopping at first is Olivia Lee, who was just at the plate. It is now 3-0. Let's take a look at this on the replay.
It was a hard hit ball, but I think probably the shortstop will tell you she should have made that play. I think it just got on her a little bit quicker than she thought, and it kicked off. And what you have in this tournament really is a mixture of age groups, because the French, it's effectively their senior national team, and pretty much the whole senior national team.
This pitch goes to the screen, and coming home to score on a wild pitch is Hannah Edwards. Moving to second is Olivia Lee. Pitches a ball. The hitter is Saskia Davies. 4-0. Great Britain U-19. So yeah, you're right. The national, it is sort of veterans against rookies, I guess you could say, in some respects.
So you've got 2 under-19 teams, which is the Great Britain team, and of course the Czechs are an under-19 club team. GB Select is a mixture of GB women and under-22 players and a couple of others. We saw this morning, for example, GB Select beat the Czechs fairly badly, and the pitcher was Carling Hare, who pitches for the senior women's team. Will be playing with them in the World Championship in Japan this summer. And then the Irish team has a number of under-19 players who will be going to the European Championship, a couple of senior players, a couple of other players.
This ball squibbed to the right. That's foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Saskia Davies. I often see that watching, you know, the Bundesliga baseball in Germany, which is where I'm normally watching games. And, you know, every once in a while there will be a kid who's 15 years old in the batter's box against a former AAA minor league pitcher. And when I was 15, I only played against other 15-year-olds. I did not, I mean, you know, maybe I would have been worse or better, not sure. But it's one of the tenets, as that pitch is high for a 2-2 count, it's one of the tenets kind of the scene in Europe with baseball and softball. You will, if you're a young, talented player, you will get a chance to prove your stuff against people much better and much more experienced than you. There's a slow chopper to third, fielded on one hop. The throw across the diamond is in time. Nice play by Lucy Jungova to end the inning.
So GB will be happy with that. I mean, 4 runs in the end.
On 3 hits, I think, plus an error, 3 hits. We'll do the totals later. Yeah. We should do our duty here and read one of the Coaches Summit ads. You want to take the honors, Bob? So
every year in this country, Baseball Softball UK hosts what we call a Coach Summit. It's normally the last weekend in January, or the last Saturday of January. And this is really a great forum for coaches. I mean, we get excellent coaches from around the world to come and lead seminars and give talks. Some of the best coaching minds in the world are both baseball and softball, and we network events specifically to promote links between domestic coaches in our own community. The head coach of Team Canada as the main softball keynote speaker. We had the head baseball coach of the San Francisco University baseball team as the keynote baseball speaker. So some great coaches come to the event, and tickets will go on sale, I think, probably in the autumn. People can keep an eye out for that on the Baseball Softball UK Facebook page and Twitter account. But this is
people involved means a larger talent pool, the league, a brighter future for the sport in general.
And coaches are, of course, the key to developing players and developing the sport. So the more coaches we can get, the more coaches we can train, the more the sport's going to develop. So that's really the reason why we have this event every year. So the pitcher for Great Britain, Kira Watson, she's a pitcher, utility player, good hitter, probably number 3 in the under-19 pitching rotation behind Beth Fleming and Hannah Edwards.
Her first pitch to Nikola Birdkova is high. The defensive alignment for Team Great Britain U-19, Andrea Johnson at third. Diana Nesbitt is the shortstop. Laura Hirai is playing second base as this pitch is popped up back towards the circle, and it is caught by Watson herself, 1 out.
And thankfully the Great Britain team there didn't do that thing where the pitcher bails out and leaves it to some fielder. I mean, pitchers are athletes. They can catch fly balls. Yeah.
Megan Parno is the first baseman. Saskia Davies in left. And the pitch, there's a strike. Alana Snow is in center field. And in right field, Glennis McGuire. The catcher, Olivia Lee. Teresa Shmikulova is batting right now. She has a 1-strike count. And you hear her teammates cheering her on. That pitch is strike 2 on the outside corner. Batting after Shmikulova will be Michaela Otahalova, excuse me. And then Julia Aricchio, the cleanup hitter, give the rest of the lineup in this one. There's a half swing, rolled towards third, off the glove of Johnson. And Shmikulova will be safe at first. The rest of the lineup, batting 5th, Lucy Jungova. Batting 6th, Kreta Foytova. Batting 7th, Kristina Kovarjova. She's the right fielder. Eva Stankova bats 8th, and Julie Underkova bats 9th. It's a 9-person lineup for Joudrs and a 10-person lineup for Great Britain. Runner on first base with 1 out is Shmikulova. First pitch is a strike to Otahalova. Or a ball. She called that a ball? I think she called it a ball. Yeah.
Outside.
Sometimes I misspeak. Runner on first, Shmikulova. That one's outside again, 2-0. Kara Watson, a little walk in the circle. (2-0) sliced down the line, but that's foul. Strike 1.
Kira doesn't throw that hard. She relies on movement. She's got a good changeup. She's got a good curveball. But if she misses over the middle of the plate, the ball is hittable. And we saw that last pitch hit pretty hard.
Yeah, that was a good swing by Otahalova. Just going with it, even on the 2-0 count. Here it comes. That's high. Ball 3, 3-1. Runner on first base, Teresa Shmikolova. Johnson and Parno at the corners are relatively close. The 3-1. Chopped towards short. The force at second, no relay to first. Ball was dropped, but
after the
transfer, or are they going to call her safe?
Ooh, I think they can call her safe, and it looked to me like it was after the.
Now let's look at it on the replay. It was a ground ball to the shortstop. Yeah, they're going to give the out call, and we could clearly see on the replay. So that's a 6-4 force. Otahalova is now at first base on a fielder's choice, and Julia Aricchio is the hitter. Aricchio, the catcher and the cleanup hitter.
So they've got 2 down now.
Yep.
Never a good idea to drop the ball in that kind of play. It gives the umpire something to think about, but I think it was the right call.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we have the benefit of a replay. That's a foul ball, strike 1. And you know, the umpires in these situations, people just don't realize how difficult it is to umpire. It doesn't matter what the call is. I mean, I've done it just in, you know, fun league softball, and it's not easy. There's a foul to the screen, strike 2 on Aricchio. The wind is howling and is blowing straight out towards right center.
The fences here are set at 210 feet. We haven't had anyone hit the ball over in this tournament yet.
There's a line drive and a leaping grab on the right side by the second baseman, Laura Hirai. She made a really nice catch, leaping to her gloved side and preventing that ball to get to the outfield.
It's a great catch. I mean, she's not very tall, but she got way up in the air for that one.
No runs and 1 left on base. So we will go to the second inning. It is 4-0 Great Britain U-19 over Joudrs.
It's fun, it's sociable, it enables us to offer something different in our work-based program.
Hit the Pitch is a great idea to get everyone involved together in the workplace. It's great fun. We're all really excited about playing, and the coaches and the support that we get in learning the sport as well has been really great.
It's great for employee well-being, it's good for fitness, it's great, perfect.
It's a little bit of team bonding, a chance for them to get out of the office and try something a little bit different. Softball is not a sport that everybody has had a go at, so this is why everyone's here. They're really excited to give this a go.
So we go to the top of the second inning, 4-0 Great Britain leading Joudrs. And it will be Glennis McGuire, the number 9 hitter, to lead things off.
Glennis is another player who's come up from the under-16s. She played last year in the European Championship. Now she's with the under-19 program. She's come on very quickly as a player, a young player.
Anna Zulova, by the way, is warming up in the bullpen for Joudrs as Otahalova deals on the first pitch to McGuire is a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. McGuire playing right field. One ball, no strikes. And that one is high, 2-0. And ball 3. Not missing by much, but a little bit high.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty good pitch. But there's a tendency these days, WBSC umpires, and Yana McCaskill is a WBSC certified umpire, to call a slightly lower strike zone.
Like that, 3-1 count. That was right. That was a beautiful pitch. It was knee high.
There's been a new strike zone, a new rule book by the WBSC with a slightly different strike zone, although they will tell you it hasn't changed. But I think in the minds of umpires, the idea is that it's slightly lower.
Well, it's hard to, they can't sort of institute the same type of changes that Major League Baseball did, only because Major League Baseball has all that radar technology, and the umpires get, basically graded on every single pitch they ever do, which is, there's ball 4 missing low. Which is, that's really the only way to know if you got it right or not. And here, it's still kind of the Wild West in that regard.
The particular problem you've got in softball with higher pitches, of course, is that you've got a key pitch is the rise ball. And the ball actually moves upwards. You don't really have such a pitch in baseball.
That's right.
Physically, that can't happen, even though occasionally it looks like the ball's moving up. So the question of where the top of the strike zone is in fast pitch softball presents slightly different problems.
Sure, yeah. And because the pitcher is throwing from down below as opposed to overhand. First pitch was low to Alana Snow, as she had run her hands up to bunt. The pitch, this one is bunted in front of the plate. Grabbed by the first baseman. The throw goes down the right field line. Heading to third base is McGuire. She will stop there. Runners at first and third.
The Czech coach, Lenka Jaklova, who used to be a national team player for the Czech Republic, and we played against her many times, is probably not going to be happy with the execution of her kids here, because they're not making plays they should really make. We saw it in the first inning. We saw it again there. But that's why they're here. Yeah, to have these opportunities. There's a runner goes from second base. The throw to third is going to go into left field, and that will allow the run to score. Taking off for third base is Alana Snow. She slides in, and that's the first and third. That's exactly what young teams kind of fall for. The runner takes off and stops halfway between first and second to try to induce that throw from the catcher, and that's exactly what happened. Of course, the catcher probably made the right throw, but she just didn't execute.
It wasn't executed well. So it's 5-0. This ball slapped foul from Laura Harai, strike one. So McGuire scores on the E2. And then Snow goes all the way to third. Did she get a Nolan base for that, plus an E2? Or is it fielder's choice in an E2? That's how she advanced.
It's a fielder's choice. Yeah.
That's one of the ones that sometimes confuses me as well. There's another slap job popped up left side, and it's in no man's land, and it lands for a base hit. And all the way to second base, Laura Harai. She is in there with a slide.
And that's what you get from Laura Harai. You get really good base running, you get heads-up play, and you get the classic little bloop hit by a left-handed slap hitter. Yeah, that landed in the Bermuda Triangle down the left field line in between Jungova and Shmikalova. And Laura Harai, until just a couple of years ago, was a right-handed hitter. And because of her speed, the coaches here thought, it might be an advantage to make her into a left-handed slap hitter. A couple of steps closer to first base. It's a work in progress, but you saw there the way that kind of thing can pay off. Yeah. Diana Nesbitt, who was retired on one pitch. Now she yanks one just foul down the third base line. Just. That looked like it might have caught the corner of the bag, but yeah, the umpires are on top of that. But Diana Nesbitt, again, another player who's come up from the under-16. She starred in the European Championship last year, hit, I think, 450, maybe close to 500. Not bad. One strike, and that was a loud strike. Runner on second base, Laura Harai. And the pitch, this ball hit on the ground to second, and the play is made to first by Onderkova. Moving to third is Harai. That's the first out of the inning. And Diana won't be happy, but it's a productive out because it moves a runner to third base. Yeah, hitting behind the runner, especially after pulling a screamer down the left field line and then going with the pitch. Megan Parno now steps up to the plate, runner on third with one out, and she laces a base hit to left field. That ball got out there in an eyelash. Laura Harai will score. RBI single makes it 7-0. Watch this on the replay, right down the pipe, and she put a really good swing on that.
That ball nearly skipped past the left fielder, Kreta Vojtova.
Yeah, I mean, Megan hits the ball hard. The ground is very fast out there. As you said, it's dry, and the ball just kind of takes off.
It just skips out there. I saw it yesterday. It was like a bowling alley. The ball just going all over the place. Pitches outside to Andrea Johnson. Ball one. There's one out. Runner on first base is Megan Parno. Michaela Otahalova. And this pitch goes to the screen. Parno will go to second base on the wild pitch, ball two.
The GB Under-19 team, they kind of assembled in London towards the end of this past week. They'll play in this tournament, and it's another wild pitch which sends Parno to third. And they'll then have a week to train both here and then in Italy. They'll go to Italy on Thursday, have 3 days there before the European Championship, Junior Championship starts on the 16th. And they will start the tournament with probably their toughest group game against Russia. So the whole point is to be ready for that game. And that's the reason they're having effectively 10, 11 days together before the tournament.
Yeah, it's always a good thing to get as many reps as you can, especially before a big game. And Johnson, who was swinging on 3-0 and lined that pitch down the right field side foul. It's now a 3-1 count. And this ball hit hard, fielded by the third baseman. She holds the runner and throws across. And it is not in time. Safe at first base.
She did the right thing. You know, she looked the runner back, but she kind of looped the throw over there and then hung her head a bit afterwards. It's tough for these kids. They're a little bit out of their depth here, and it's beginning to tell on them, I think.
So first and third for Hannah Edwards. I mentioned the Great Britain team is going to travel to Italy. Normally, I would think to myself, wow, Italy, the weather's going to be great. Man, it might be colder there.
It's cooler at the moment in Italy. I've been looking at that because I'm going to Italy to report on the team. And
that ball crushed to deep left field, and it is over the head of Vojtova all the way to the wall. That will score at least one, and bounced over the fence. So it's a grounds rule double. As Parno scores, Johnson goes to third, and Edwards, who really rocked that pitch. That was one of the most solid hits I've seen in the 2 days. Let's watch this on the replay. Right down the pipe. Full swing, good follow through, right off the barrel.
She's a powerful hitter. She's going to probably, I mean, she's only 17. If she gets bigger and stronger, you'll see home runs out of her.
That wasn't so far away from being one right there anyway. As Olivia Lee will step up to the plate. She reached on an error her first time.
Olivia goes to Yale University, so this is a...
I've heard of it. This ball popped up to the right side, might drop in. The second baseman is out, and it lands. And that will bring a run home. Runners will still end up at first and third, as it is now 9-0. Lee hitting a little bloop that drops between Julie Underkova and Eva Stankova, the second baseman and center fielder.
Slightly cruel on the checks. There have been a couple of balls like that which have just fallen out of reach. 2 or 3, actually, 2 in this inning, 1 in the first inning. Slightly more aggressive, experienced team probably would make those into outs, but...
Saskia Davies takes a strike, and taking second base uncontested is Olivia Lee.
Of course, the GB Under-19 team are going to the European Junior Championships as the defending champions.
Yeah.
They won the gold medal in 2016.
There's a pickoff attempt down the third base side, and the throw is wide, goes into left field, and that will allow Johnson to score.
Yeah, Hannah Edwards.
Excuse me, Hannah Edwards who scores. Yeah, there's Johnson who scored on the double. So it is now 10-0.
So the game is getting away from the Czechs, and some of it is their own making, to be fair, but...
Saskia Davies still at the plate. The pitch is high. The count is 2 balls and no strikes, I believe. Yeah, you know, that's one of the toughest things about this sport is the mental aspect of it. It's like on a little pop-up, the one that dropped in, you know, when you're having a bad day, there's a flare off to the right foul. When you're having a bad day, that ball goes up in the air and you think, oh, great, here we go again. And to come back from that, you know, they all often say, at least, you know, I'm sure they say it about softball too, but they say baseball is a game of failure, right? Well, it's like, how do you handle the fact, because even if you're hitting 400, that means 60% of the time you're making it out. There's a ground ball cut off in the hole by the shortstop. Now they have the runner caught between second and third, and she is out. Taking second base, they might have her out there. The throw there, safe.
Yeah, she got under the tag, but at least they executed the rundown.
Yes.
That will make them feel a little bit better about themselves.
So Lee is out on a fielder's choice. The play, I think, went 6-4 to 5, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
something along those lines.
The third base player chased her down in the end.
Yep. And Davies makes it all the way to second base on a fielder's choice. And now Glennis McGuire, who opened the inning.
Saskia Davies comes from the Midlands. She only took up softball maybe three and a half years ago. She's come on amazingly. She's come through our academy and High Performance Academy and has made the under-19 national team, not just this year, but last year when they went to the World Championship. So it's really nice to see one of our homegrown players develop as quickly as she has.
Well, she reached on a walk and scored to start the inning. She's got a 2-0 count here. That one's a strike. Nice pitch from Michaela Otahalova. Jungova is guarding the line. The third baseman, Shmikolova, the shortstop, is in normal depth. And the wind picks up. That pitch is high. Ball 3-1. In between every pitch, Julia Underkova, the second baseman, runs in behind Saskia Davies, who's on second base, but nothing doing over there.
I mean, she's doing that for two reasons. One is to chase the runner, well, not back, because she has to go back anyway, but just in case the throw gets past the pitcher, doesn't go into center field. And it's kind of a reflex thing that softball players are taught to do. You know, once in you know, 20 games, it'll actually happen. So here's Alana Snow, top of the order, back up again, and the inning kind of goes on as far as the checks are concerned.
There's 2 outs. The pitch missed high, I guess. Ball 1. Lefty on lefty. Snow has scored 2 runs in this game, 1 already in this inning. And out in front of an off-speed pitch. That was a good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
She has pretty good stuff on Olova. It's just, again, it's consistency, like we said before, but every once in a while she'll throw a really effective pitch.
Yeah, and, you know, when you're playing in a game like this from the Joudrs side, there's a pitch. This ball is hit on a 1 hop to the second baseman, Underkova. She throws to first in time to end the inning, and I'll finish that thought after we come back. So it is 10-0. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Here from the London Cup, Tim Collins and Bob Fromer. Hope you're enjoying things. Don't forget the championship game comes up today at 1 p.m., correct?
2:30.
2:30, right. That's what I meant. 2:30. It's the same thing.
And at the moment, it's looking very much like it will be the GB Under-19s against France. Yep.
Great. Well, we can talk about the baseball, softball coaching qualifications clinic.
We've got a whole coaching program here in the UK. And our coaches are our coaching courses are specifically designed to support every coach in the country. They're run at venues all around the country, usually during the off season, because it's hard to get people to coaching courses during the playing season. We have a course where you can become a BSUK activator, and that means that you get trained to get beginners started playing softball or baseball and make the game fun for them and encourage them to participate. You can become a fully qualified licensed coach. That's called a level 2 course that goes over several weeks, and but that will equip you to be a club coach and possibly go beyond that. We also have modules in specific skills like hitting or pitching or catching. Those are generally 3-hour modules. So if you are interested, or your club is interested in a course that will train those particular people and those skills, you can apply for that. So if you go on the BSUK website and you click on the coaching tab, it will eventually, you have to kind of click a few times to get there, but it will eventually list all the courses. It will tell you when and where courses are being held around the country. They'll start in the autumn once the playing season finishes. They're highly recommended, and as we said before in relation to the Coach Summit, we need more people to train as coaches, and these courses are the way to do it. So hopefully people will have a look at those and see if any of them are of interest.
Have you seen in the past few years an increase in the number of people that are interested in coaching? And
definitely, yeah. We've had better attendance on courses. We're particularly interested in training people to be activators because that's what gets people started playing. And the whole mission of Baseball Softball UK is to increase participation. So those people, they're not trained to be high-level coaches, and it's not a really complicated course, but those are key people for us because they're what get the whole,
right.
get the whole thing going.
That's the contact point for the players.
For new players, yeah.
2 balls and no strikes on Lucy Jungova, and she smacks one on the ground towards second. The play to first. Throw a little bit wide, but the tag was applied. Laura Harai to Megan Parno. 4-3 on the putout. And there's one down. That will bring up Kreta Foytova. It's 5, 6, and 7 in the order. After Kreta Foytova, it'll be Kristina Kovarzhova. 10-0, Great Britain leading Joudrs. So Kreta Foytova is the left fielder. And the pitch from Kira Watson is swung on and missed, strike one.
Kira's throwing fairly hard today. She doesn't always throw that hard. She relies more on movement, but I think she's trying to throw the ball past people here.
Pop up right to the third baseman, Andrea Johnson, for the second out. And very quickly, 2 outs, nobody on.
You know, this is kind of crisp softball that's going to give the GB team confidence going forward. They know that they're not playing a really tough opponent here, but it's all about execution.
Yep. Getting the reps in. Kovarzhova, late swing, fouls it to the screen. Kristina, the right fielder. And to their credit, Joudrs, I mean, they continue with their chanting and their cheering. Trying to keep a positive spirit. The pitch is low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That kind of reflects the ethos of the club. It's a great club. You know, they'll keep this going regardless of the score.
Yeah, that's good. The pitch is fouled right to the screen. Boy, that was loud. In case you're wondering why that was loud, it's because that's exactly where the microphone is. Sounds like a bass drum. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs, nobody on. We are in the bottom of the second inning, and now a little meeting in the circle as Kira Snow and the whole infield.
It's the assistant coach, Russ Snow, who's gone out there and gathered everyone round. Not exactly clear in this situation why he's done that because nothing was really happening, but I think he saw probably a teaching point there somewhere. And
must be. So, you know, sometimes in a game like this, when you're on the winning side, the coach has to really be mindful, make sure that the players don't start to let the guard down. And maybe there's something there that he saw that he wanted to just warn against, or but you're right. Like, it's all about the teachable moments. Now the whole, what is with my sound? It's all about the teachable moments.
The coach who just went out there, Russ Snow, was the ground ball to shortstop. Diana Nisbet has it, throws to first, and that'll end the inning.
Thanks for the play-by-play while I was messing with the audio.
Russ Snow was the head coach for the GB women's team way back in 1999 when the program really began to get serious, and that, of course, was because softball was in the Olympics. Beginning in Atlanta in 1996, and we decided that we needed to develop a serious program that could possibly challenge for an Olympic place. So Russ, who was a very experienced fast pitch softball player, world level pitcher, from California in the States, came in as the head coach and took the GB women's team against all expectations to 3rd place in the Olympic qualifying tournament. We were regarded as nothing at that point, and we got all the way in effect to the semifinal, where we only lost 2-1 to Italy.
Wow.
And since then, Russ has also been the coach of our GB men's fast pitch team. And he is, of course, the father of the center fielder, Alana Snow. And he came back on board this year as an assistant coach for the program, and I think he's bringing a huge amount of experience to that role.
Looks like we're going to have some changes here. I'm going to see if I can figure out what they are. As we go to the top of the 3rd inning, is 10-0.
Yeah, there are, I think, 15 or 16 players here for the GB team, so there are players waiting on the bench to get into the ball game. There's a huddle at the moment between the plate umpire and the official scorer and the GB pitching coach, Tina Whitlock. Yeah, 26 is Alexis Laro, and I think she'll be playing first base. So Sydney Robson at the plate. It's their first year with the GB program.
And swing and a miss. Yes, Sydney Robson pinch hitting for Laura Hirai. Hirai had singled and doubled and scored twice and driven in a run, so I guess her day's work is over.
And made that really good catch.
Yeah,
line drive at second base.
That pitch goes to the screen. It's 2 balls and a strike, am I correct? I was still editing my scorecard on that first pitch, but 1 ball, 2 strikes, okay. Thank you, Jennifer. There's the pitch to Robson. This ball hit in the air to center field, and it drops in front of Stankova. So a little flare single. And the number 2 spot in the order is 3 for 3.
Now we have the number 3 hitter, Diana Nisbet.
She is 0 for 2. She popped out and grounded out, so she'd love to get in on the activity on the base paths. Runner on first, nobody out. Michaela Otahalova still in the pitcher's circle. The bunt is shown. The pitch is a strike. Throw to second base is not in time. So stolen base. Sydney Robson steals second base. Take a look at this on the replay. So she's in scoring position. Pitch was right over the outside corner. Good throw by Aricchio. Could have, it was bang bang play at second. And that one hits her in the back. So Nesbitt will take first on the hit by pitch.
And she's been a bit of a magnet for that.
Did she get hit twice earlier today?
She got hit twice yesterday.
Yesterday. I'm telling you, getting hit with a softball, not fun.
There's a player on the GB select team, on the GB women's team called Chloe Wigington, who has become famous for the number of times she's been hit by pitches in the last couple of years.
Like Don Baylor in the major leagues.
Yes.
Pitch is low to Alexis Laro.
Or, Anthony Rizzo, I guess, at the moment.
I think Brandon Nimmo of the Mets has recently had a string of getting hit by pitch but not allowed to go to first base by the home plate umpire, which is also something that is rarely ever called. The pitch is outside to Laro, and the count 2-0. 2 on and nobody out, top of the 3rd inning. Michaela Otahalova in the circle for Joudrs. And a back pick, and the throw is not in time.
You have to give the check catcher credit, because she keeps trying these throws. She's thrown 2 or 3 of them away, but she's being aggressive. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when the execution doesn't go the way you want, that's a bad result, but in terms of gaining confidence, you just have to do it a million times. There's a pitch high, 3 balls and a strike now as Laro was showing bunt. Andrea Johnson is waiting to hit next. 2 on, nobody out, runners on first and second. 3 balls and 1 strike. And the pitch. This is a pop-up, short right center field, and it drops in front of Stankova. The runners had to wait to make sure it landed, so they will only move 1 base further. Bases loaded, and nobody out.
And that's just another little pop fly ball that's fallen between the check-in field and the check-out field, and you could say unlucky.
Yeah, the wind is blowing that direction, and so yes, Lauren King is going to pinch hit for Andrea Johnson. But yeah, you're right. Those balls just, we saw the ball that Laura Harai hit, landed in, there's a bunch of Bermuda Triangles out there today. Haven't heard much from the Bermuda Triangle recently, but
no, and of course the Czech Bermuda Triangles get a little bit bigger because they're a little bit hesitant.
Yeah. But you certainly don't want to collide with anyone. Ah, yes, and so Megan Parno goes back to run for Alexis Laro, so Parno back in there on first base. Parno and Nesbitt at second. Robson is at third. Lauren King at the plate. Bases loaded, nobody out. The pitch, that's a strike. 0-1. 2 hits and a hit by pitch in the inning. Otahalova has the sign from Arikio. And the next one. That ball is drilled to deep left field, way back, and it is going to bounce over the fence and drive home 2 runs to make it 12-0. That ball was crushed by Lauren King.
Yeah, it's a double. I thought for a moment it had gone over, but yeah, she has power. She came into the camp here with a little bit of a knee injury, which is why she's not playing more regularly, but it's obviously not affecting her ability to swing the bat.
Yeah, I saw her hit a ball like that yesterday too, I believe, in one of the games. So
you can see she's running a little bit gingerly, but yeah, that was a good hit.
And we're going to have another pinch hitter, I believe.
This is Morgan Salmon.
Okay, pinch hitting for Edwards.
So we're getting close to the mercy rule maybe here. It's 15 after 3.
Okay.
GB is the visiting team, so of course Joudrs get to bat.
They would have
again.
to bat one more time, yes. And there's also the time limit rule.
Yeah, I don't think we're near that,
yeah,
but we're certainly near the mercy rule. How many runs at the moment?
It is 12.
Okay, so we're 3 away from...
Morgan Salmon with runners on second and third. And that pitch is high. Remember, France is awaiting the outcome of this game, certainly at the moment.
On the other side of the draw, there will be, or not the draw, but the tournament, after this game, there will be a playoff game between the teams that finish 4th and 5th in the round robin. It's a 5-team tournament. And the loser of that game will be done. The winner will go on to play Ireland in the 3rd place game.
There's a strike, 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Lauren King is at second. Megan Parno is at third. 2-1. There's nobody out. There's strike 2 over the outside corner. Good pitch from Otahalova. Vojtova in left field is pretty shallow, and Eva Stankova in center field is shaded a little bit towards right side. Seen the wind blow the balls in that direction. This ball hit in the air, center of the diamond, caught by the shortstop, Shmikolova, Teresa Shmikolova. And that is the first out in the inning. Runners stay at second and third. And that will bring up Olivia Lee. Lee reached on an error, then she singled, stole a base, but was erased on a force out, or a fielder's choice rather.
Lee has been a pupil for a number of years of a woman called Jen Schroeder, who was a famous collegiate catcher and now a famous catching coach. Effectively, she runs an academy where she coaches catchers particularly, and Olivia's been one of her pupils for the last several years.
This ball hit off the end of the bat in the air to left field, and it is right at the left fielder, Foitova, who makes the catch. The throw home is not in time. Both runners will advance, and it is 13-0. Sacrifice fly for Olivia Lee. That's the second out of the inning, so she'll get a run batted in. And King moves to third. She hit it just off the end of the bat. Didn't quite get the sweet part, I don't think. But a good swing and good base running as both runners tagging up.
So if the Czechs can get out of this inning without the score getting as far as 15, then we will have a fourth inning.
Saskia Davies swings and misses at a high pitch.
And as far as time is concerned, these games are played to no new inning after 90 minutes. At the moment, we're still about 40 minutes away from that.
There's a pickoff attempt at third, as you mentioned, Arikia not afraid to throw down there, especially when there's a runner, when there's a hitter in the right-handed batter's box, because that can be deceptive for the runner on third base who can't necessarily see that Arikia is going to throw down there. This one is low. Two balls and one strike to count. Two outs, runner in third is Lauren King. Saskia Davies at the plate. Michaela Otahalova deals. Ground ball back through the middle, and it is into center field for a base hit. King will score. And it is 14-0.
Just crept through the infield, but you could see that the second baseman was never going to really make that. She dived, which is good, but the ball went through.
Yeah, once it got past the pitcher. Yeah, it was a nice diving attempt by Julie Underkova. So 14-0, and Glennis McGuire at the plate. This one in the dirt, nice scoop by Arikia.
Really nice stop, yeah.
Well, catching is one of the most difficult things to do, especially when you have a pitcher that might not necessarily know where the ball's going. You get hit by a lot of foul balls, and you just have to sacrifice your body, basically.
Yes. And she's been diving all over the place in this game.
You get your exercise, that's for sure. 2 balls and no strikes on Glennis McGuire. Davies off first, swing and a miss, strike one. The championship game will be at 2:30 p.m. and we will bring it to you live, of course.
And I think it's safe to say at this point it will be France and the Great Britain under-19 team.
That ball tapped foul, strike 2. Once again, I hit the wrong button. That's the one I wanted to show you. Yeah, France, a really strong team. We talked about it already. I think that's going to be a fun final to watch. Good competitive game between two good teams. That pitch is outside. Full count now for Glennis McGuire. Alana Snow is on deck.
The French team, French program is actually it's an ambitious program. They're trying to move up in the European rankings.
This ball floated into shallow center field, and it lands. Another base hit right off the fists of Glennis McGuire. But Davies moves to second, and 2 on and 2 outs. The inning not over yet. And Alana Snow will hit.
The French recently reached an agreement with Japan to kind of partner them and mentor them, and the French team and coaches recently went to Japan as the guests of the Japanese Association. They got to train with coaches there. They got to watch the series between Japan and the U.S., which is a big annual event in Japan. They learned a lot. I was talking to the French coaches. They said it was just a great trip, and they just learned so much about the way the Japanese train and approach their softball.
2 balls and no strikes on Alana Snow. I feel like the last 10 years or so, things like this, these types of relationships between teams, for example, in Cuba or Curacao, the Netherlands, Japan, there's a strike. I feel like those types of relationships and development type opportunities for the European leagues have increased a lot.
They definitely have, and Europe, of course, feels that it has some catching up to do, because if you look around the world at the different regions, the strongest teams in the world are still, on the whole, not in Europe, with the exception of the Netherlands, who were fourth in the last World Championship. So Europe has catching up to do. There are programs out there who are more advanced, so it can only help to get involved with them.
That ball ripped into center field, and it's going to get past Stankova and go all the way to the wall. This is going to score 1 run, and then it's going to score another run as Alana Snow ripped a double all the way through to the center field fence, and Saskia Davies and Glennis McGuire scored, and that makes it 16-0.
And that means that after the Czechs bat in the bottom half of the inning, we could well be the end of the ball game.
If they don't score 2 runs, right?
I mean, Alana ripped that ball, and that's what she can do. She, again, used to be a switch hitter until a couple of years ago, and then decided to hit exclusively from the left side, partly to take advantage of her speed, but I mean, her natural side is the right side. But she's really come on as a left-handed hitter, and she can now hit the ball really hard.
This ball skips away.
So she's gone from being a slap hitter to someone who can really drive the ball.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of, I mean, I am a natural left-hander. I throw and I batted in, school left-handed, but there were a lot of natural right-handers that became very good left-handed hitters just because the style of hitting, it would be bottom hand hitting, where you really pull with the bottom hand. There's a pop-up, and it will be caught by the shortstop, Shmikalova, for the 3rd out of the inning. And we will go to the bottom of the 3rd, and we should probably talk about the Academy Baseball and Softball registration program.
Well, the Academy program, which has been running for a number of years, is an open program. It runs in the off-season, and it's designed to help young players get better and stronger and fitter and just become better baseball and softball players. And the off-season, of course, is a great time to make improvements in your game. And the top coaches in the country work at the baseball and softball academies. There are monthly sessions, national sessions. There are regional weekend sessions from October to March where players develop their hitting, pitching, fielding, base running, all the different skills. And registration for the academy season will open pretty soon, because it will start in the end of September or beginning of October. So again, if you keep an eye on the BSUK Facebook page or BSUK Twitter account, you'll get details pretty soon of when you can register, how to register. There's also an Academy page on the Baseball Softball UK website, www.baseballsoftballuk.com. But the Academy is really the tool that we use to take anyone really from the age of 10 up to 25 who wants to get better, whether they're slow pitch players or fast pitch players or baseball players, and they can get some really excellent coaching during the off season. So if the Academy is something you might be interested in, and it's open to anyone, look out for the details of how to register for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bob. And looks like we have some defensive changes. Lauren King is at 3rd base.
And we have a new pitcher. Hannah Edwards is now taken over from Kira Watson in the circle.
Alexis Laro is catching.
And Olivia Lee is at first base.
And the first pitch from Hannah Edwards is low for a ball. The hitter is Eva Stankova. Boy, that's tough. This is her first at bat in the game. Stankova and then Julie Ondrakova, and then the top of the order. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Nice drop ball there from Hannah Edwards.
And the pitch. That's off the glove of Alexis Laro to the backstop for ball 2. Well, the wind is really picking up. You can hear it. Two balls and a strike on Eva Stankova. And a beautiful pitch hits the outside corner. Even count now, 2-2. This ball chopped up the first base side, foul. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The interesting thing is that the under-19s, of course, are going to the European Junior Championship, but that is followed immediately in the next week by the European Under-22 Championship. Another foul ball, and 11 of the players who are playing on the Under-19 team are going to immediately go on and play in the Under-22 Championship. And one reason why so many are crossing over is because the Under-22 players on the GB senior team who might have played for the Under-22s, of course, will be in Japan at that point, getting ready for the World Championship. And there are probably 5 or 6 players who might have played for the Under-22s had it not been for that. So we've got a lot of Under-19s who are, in effect, going to have 2 weeks in a row of softball and 2 tournaments in a row. And again, that's going to be great for their development.
Even this weekend, that every team has played a ton of softball. Swing and a miss, and the pitch was down in the dirt. The throw to first base to complete the play.
Yeah, this is a kind of concentrated thing. You have a weekend tournament, and you, of course, play more games in a day than you probably would normally.
Yeah.
I mean, most teams played 3 games yesterday. They'll all play 5 games before the tournament's over. But they know that, they gear up for it. It's a development thing. When you actually get to a tournament, you're going to play 1-2 games a day at the most.
Julia Underkova takes a ball outside.
World Championships, you tend normally to just play 1 game a day. European Championships, you often play 2 games a day because they tend to have quite crowded schedules.
This one bounces off the plate and then everything behind it. 2 balls and no strikes. There's 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. This ball game will end unless Joudrs, Czech Republic, can score 2 runs. And you hear the cheering. Julia Underkova, the number 9 hitter. They have only had 1 base runner. That was Mikala Otahalova, the pitcher. This pitch is low. 3 balls and no strikes. But they've had 2 base runners. Teresia Shmikalova reached, and then Otahalova replaced her on a fielder's choice. So I guess technically they've had 2, but they've only left 1. 3-0 the count. Swinging on 3-0, and that's strike 1. Now, normally trailing 16-0, you would be taking on 3-0, but then again, you're probably not going to get a better pitch to hit than a 3-0 pitch. Might as well take a crack at it.
That was down the middle pretty much.
There's the 3-1. Swing and a miss, 3-2.
She went that time for the rise ball, which is a pitch that, as a young hitter, you really need to lay off that pitch and learn to see that pitch coming.
I mean, the most you can do with it is pop it straight up most of the time. 3-2. Fouled to the bass drum. The count still 3-2. Julie Underkova, where's number 48. One out, nobody on base, bottom of the 3rd. And a little squibber, this one foul.
So Hannah Edwards is throwing strikes at this point. I mean, the game is not in doubt, but she'd like to get through this inning without a base runner.
Yeah, you don't want to be walking people with a 16-run lead. That's something that a coach will not be happy with. 3-2. Well, pesky at bat here for Julie Underkova,
who probably swung at ball 4, but she's protecting the plate, which is what she's up there to do in this situation.
Not a lot of reaction time for those of you that have never played the sport. Full count, 1 out, nobody on the pitch. Again, fouled away. Was that 4 consecutive?
4 foul balls, yeah, she's hanging in there.
Here it comes. And she works the walk. Julia Underkova outlasts Hannah Edwards in that at-bat, and with one out and a runner at first, Nikola Berdkova, the top of the order, will step up.
Berdkova's a left-handed batter, and she hits the ball pretty hard against the Irish team. She had a couple of, made good contact.
She popped out to the pitcher her first time. She's now the only hitter to have batted twice in the game. There's a swing and a miss, strike one. I feel like the temperature rose about 10 degrees in the last 5 minutes.
I think the wind dropped.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Swing and a miss, strike two. Berdkova. A little bit late on those last two pitches. Nothing in two, runner on first base. One out, bottom of the third. Popped up, and that's going to leave the yard.
The field here, of course, is in proximity to the clubhouse, home plate bar and kitchen, which is just behind. And right now there's a lot of people sitting around watching the game or in the clubhouse having a bit to eat or drink. And foul balls can get back there.
Yeah.
But Berdkova strikes out on a pitch low and outside, went fishing for it. So there are two down.
And Teresa Shmekalova will be the last hope for Joudrs. Two outs. Remember the mercy rule, 15 runs after 3, so we are past that, 16-0. And one more out. This game would end. The pitch is low.
It's going to be a punishing day for the Czechs because they played, this is their second game in a row. They played at 9. Immediately after this, they will go and play a placing game against Ireland to decide who goes on to the third place game. If the Czechs were to win that, they'd be playing 4 games in a row.
Ball rolled foul up the first base side. That's strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I mean, it's unlikely. They lost to Ireland yesterday, and they're going to be really tired. But the coach was very keen to play all these games. She said, no, bring them on. The more games we can play, the better. So they will have played 3 games in a row, certainly, and maybe 4. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's 4 games in 1 day is really a lot. I mean, slapped, and that is a fair ball, and it is juggled by Lauren King, so runners on first and second.
That was always going to be a tough play. She was trying to backhand right on the line to turn her body and make the throw anywhere, probably to first. I think was going to be tough anyway if she hadn't juggled it.
And we saw Shmekalova actually, she turned and put her feet in position to run to first before she even swung the bat. And so Michaela Otahalova swings and pops one up left side, and a basket catch is made by Saskia Davies in left field, and that will do it, as the final score is going to be 16-0 for Great Britain over Joudrs U-19.
So the U-19s will now have a bite to eat, chill out a bit, get ready for the final at 2:30 against France. I think you'll probably see the starting pitcher in that game will be Beth Fleming for GB. France has 2 or 3 pitchers they could choose from. Sarah Benchali might be their choice, but you don't know. It will be a good game. It was a good game between those 2 teams yesterday. It should be a good game again. Beth Fleming didn't start the game yesterday. She came in and pitched some relief, but I think GB was trying to hold her back a little bit, anticipating that might be the final. So we look forward to that. Yeah,
it should be a good one. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. My name is Tim Collins, along with Bob Fromer. Thank you, Bob, for joining me. Appreciated your knowledge and expertise. And these 2 teams now meeting in the pitcher's circle and shaking hands with one another. One thing that I've also been impressed with just watching the games, it doesn't seem as if there's been a whole lot of super over-intense bad blood type play. And I mean, sometimes there will be moments where that type of thing can happen, but everything seems to be very good-natured. And
You don't get that very often in softball. You get it occasionally, but especially in European softball, it's a small community. Everybody knows each other.
Everybody's family, basically, in some way or another.
Yeah, the coaches all know each other. Players often know each other. A lot of players play in different European countries. There are a number of players here, actually, on the GB Select team who've been playing in the Netherlands League during the season. So it is family, and generally it's pretty friendly. Occasionally something happens, but
it looks as if the Great Britain team is handing out some sort of gift to the Joudrs team, so that's a nice touch. So we are finished with this broadcast. We'll be back at 2:30 p.m. or just shortly before for the championship game. This is the 2018 London Cup. I hope you've enjoyed watching the broadcast. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and check back at 2:30 for the championship game. Thank you very much.